So I'm Shelly Vellani with Rennie and Associates Realty, and I'm here with Keaton Bessey today with Greater Vancouver Tenant and Property Management. Did I say that right?
Nailed it.
So I've known you for 4 years now. We've partnered up in business with referrals. We've become friends along the way. I really appreciate you being here. The reason for my questions today is to find out what inspired you to do property management. Also, I'm dealing with clients right now that have their kids entering university, college. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they want to be when they grow up. And I also have clients right now that are making a change in their career and they're not sure what they want to do yet. So I think having you here today and asking you what I want to ask, picking your brain might help inspire people to make that career change or maybe make the decision to be a property manager or even help you on your team. So thanks for being here, and I'm just going to dive right into it. How is the rental market? I hear it's on fire. Is that still the case?
It was on fire through the end of, I'd say, September. And traditionally, that's kind of where it starts to slow down anyways. But as lots of your viewers, I'm sure know, this has not been a standard year or a standard last couple of years. So we are still seeing quite a bit of interest on like 1 and 2 bedroom homes for rent. But the 3 and 4s, they're just less families moving around right now. You got the kids in school. It's getting into the holidays, which is kind of a normal feeling, thank God. But it is slowing on the larger homes. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you foresee what's going to be happening next year?
Nobody has a crystal ball, standard answer. In a traditional economic cycle like this, when rates are going up and if the economy is going to head into recession, people should start losing jobs. And then if that happens, in Canada, especially, people are going to start moving back to Calgary, East Coast, or maybe even back out of the country into the States. We've got a lot of immigration lately. So if that happens, there will be supply that opens up. However, it's a very weird economic situation. So no idea. If no big shocks come, we're not building enough anyways. So at the end of the day, there's still going to be all these people here, like net positive migration into the area, and no more new homes, which at the end of the day, still a tight rental market.
Right. And what about the stratas lifting the restrictions?
That's nothing. That's just a political headline.
Okay.
Like they were talking, there's a few articles flying around that it was put in place mainly to help get some people to not be able to exempt themselves from the empty home tax because their strata has a rental restriction in place. But now that's gone. There's a bunch of publications that said there's around 2,900 homes this might affect, and it might put back on the market, which is next to nothing. Like we got, 3 million people in the Greater Vancouver area. 3,000 homes is going to do nothing. People will just upgrade into those, and everyone else will upgrade into those homes, and then it'll disappear in about 2 months. No one's even going to notice.
Interesting. So Keaton, take me back to what you were doing before property management, and who is Keaton Bessey?
Before property management, I spent about 15 years in restaurants and hospitality in the food service business. So as soon as I got my social insurance number, I started working at McDonald's, run the drive-through, flipping burgers. Did that for about 3 years until I graduated. Then got into working at Gordon Food Service in the freezer warehouse. So literally packing boxes, stacking pallets, shipping food out to restaurants and stuff. And then after that, I spent about 8 or 9 years at the Joey Restaurant Group. So whether it was dishwashing or parking cars to running stores downtown, just learned how to run a large business and a large team and really focused in on the customer service and the perspective of, the end paying customer. That's kind of where it all came from before property management. As you may know, lots of people that get in the food service business get pretty burnt out and they change careers. My dad has been in property management his whole life. My grandparents were developers and property owners and property management companies in Alberta, and so that was kind of a natural transition to me after I left the restaurant business.
Nice. You've done a lot.
Yeah.
How did you get into property management then?
It was just basically convenience. I just need to make a change. Sat down with my dad at one point and he just said, well, come work with us, come over work at Gateway. And, we'll, see if you want to write your license and get into this business and we'll just see how it goes. and it's a good career change. And so I started at Gateway, like a property assistant role, basically, like don't break the photocopier kind of stuff. And immediately I saw there was a massively undersupplied need in that area, and quickly grew to running 3 offices and a director of operations for the company. And yeah, about 2 years into that, I got to that point.
Wow. Okay. Well, setting up a business is not easy at all. It takes a lot of risk and courage. What things can you say you've done to start your own business and get away from Gateway and do this on your own?
Yeah, so I've always wanted to own my own business ever since I was like 18 years old. Most of my experiences around food and restaurants and stuff, and that seemed very daunting. And growing up, you're just looking around trying to see how people start businesses. It's like, okay, well, you just got to take the risk, take a big loan, and if it doesn't work, you're screwed, kind of thing. And that was my understanding of it all. I was also in a lot of consumer debt at the time, just from like buying stupid crap on your credit card and getting a car payment and just kind of normal stuff that everybody does, and you just keep paying your payments and keep moving along. When I realized how stupid it was to be in $50,000 of consumer debt, for no good reason other than just like not paying attention, I sorted stuff out, got it together, and paid it all off in about 21 months. And then realized I have this surplus of monthly income now, that I have no debt, no payments, no obligations, nothing. And from that position, it was much, much easier to start a business. And so with the experience I learned at Gateway, overseeing, it was well over 5,000 properties. It was about $1 billion in real estate, which is really cool, just kind of looking back and seeing the valuations of that portfolio. And then looking at how many inquiries Gateway would get on people needing help with their single family units, condos, townhomes, detached homes, and how many purpose-built rentals were not built over the last 40 years. That whole rental market just went right into individual landlords who have now just kind of taken it on, but nobody was there to educate them, service them. Like, it's a super underserved industry. So I said to Gateway, like, hey, do you guys want to do a division in the company to do this? Because they didn't offer that service. They weren't interested, so I said, okay, I'm going to go do it myself. Now that I had no debt and kind of a better understanding, and just went and started. And thankfully, my wife Juliana had a good income, and we could just say, okay, what do we need to start? So I need to bartend 15 hours a week while starting the company, and the household is afloat, and just went from there.
Amazing. Super courageous of you. So I always like to say your system is so dialed. You've helped a lot of my own clients with their investment properties and get them rented out. What is your system and what's working for you?
Yeah, so we don't use any kind of like prop tech. If anybody goes and Googles prop tech and starts reading articles and stuff about it, it's this multi-billion-dollar business and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of it is created by people who've never owned or managed property in their life. And they just have a technology platform that they think in theory will work. There's not a lot of people who have managed large residential rental portfolios either, and to kind of see that from a higher level, like an institutional level, and then look at the technology platforms that come out, it's like these aren't super complicated. It's an accounting system and kind of maintenance tracking. This is not rocket science. Like Uber and stuff is way more impressive, but it doesn't help solve the problem. So we don't use any prop tech, and we just really focus on automating the homeowner and landlord experience as well as the tenant experience. And we talk about automating, sounds like a fancy, complicated word. It's just the computer does stuff that you told it to do in advance, and when a date comes up or when something happens, it's triggered and the email goes automatically rather than us sending it, because that's when it should go out. And then make sure communication is on point. We don't have to physically be on top of it sending the email out at that time, and that allows us to be around and more flexible to solve the more complicated issues that come up in like property management.
Right. So we're here now in 2022. What things are you doing to excel forward?
So right now, this year was big for us. We've grown, just looking at this yesterday, we've grown about 32% this year over last year. So that's revenue and properties and all that kind of stuff, which has been great. A lot of support from yourself and Rennie and a bunch of other real estate companies that we work with, as well as just current clients and everything. So it's been great. The response has been really excellent. Moving forward, I now have one of our full-time staff is now writing the rental license. So once that's done, they will be able to kind of step in on some of the other spots, like signing off on tenancy agreements, for example, because I'm still doing that as the licensee in the company, giving client advice based on how I've trained the team and using the templates and everything that makes the most sense. And that will allow me to focus more on business development, which I'm able to do quite a bit now as well. And so we're rolling out our marketing plan for this coming year. And that includes, even just moving, like we operate out of Burnaby, but if you Google property manager Vancouver, we don't show up, even though we have the most Google reviews out of basically any company in BC right now for property management. But if we move that Google My Business to a Vancouver office, well, then we start showing up with all the other companies, and this is a much bigger market. So doing that, for example. We're redoing our website right now and then focusing on some SEO and some like paid advertising. So that'll be exciting for this year to see if that, pay-per-click stuff actually works. So hoping that works. And just working on doing more like educational seminars for other small landlords out of like the Facebook groups that I'm always in, or for real estate offices like Rennie. Rennie's been very generous with letting me come in and help educate the realtors, and that's worked out very well as well. So just more of that stuff.
Yeah, and thank you for coming in. You always are so helpful in our Rennie chats that we have, Monday morning coffee. So thanks for always bringing some insight and your intel into that. And I always wanted to let you know your Google reviews are on fire. There's a lot of reviews, so yeah, you're doing really well. Okay, how do you maintain work-life balance, being a CEO now, and how do you do it?
Mm-hmm. CEO is generous. There's a team of 4 of us,
okay.
But work-life balance, there wasn't a lot of it to start. So the company's about 4.5 years old. At first, I was literally just running around doing whatever I could possibly do off the back of my papers and everything, cell phone, just whatever works to try to drum up business. And although we had the license and our insurance and the trust accounts and the proper brokerage and everything set up, it was literally just me running around. Right. So there was a lot of long days, as you should expect as a business owner, but thankfully, we had my little income from literally bartending, and Juliana's income to just make sure there's going to be food on the table when you come home, and Juliana's been incredibly supportive, so that's good. But working through all that, it's just building, again, these like systems to help make sure things just happen without you having to do it.
Right.
And then when there's feedback that comes back from those things, you adjust and you change, but it's all been controlled and well thought of because of the experience and just because of, we've actually sat down and thought about it to make sure it goes out. And then that allows me to focus on things a little bit more on my own schedule versus everybody else's schedule. Like my phone doesn't ring very often. And you talk to the people in property management and they're like, oh my God, my phone, oh my God, my inbox. And they wear it as like 10 missed calls, bonus. I'm a property manager, I'm busy. It's like, yeah, no, that's not how it should work. So really trying to make sure things are done proactively allows me to take a little bit more time for myself and stay healthy and focused. And then that way the business can still grow. We can serve more people.
That's why your system's so dialed.
It's got to be, yeah.
And so I want to go off topic here. I want to know what the prices are or what you can get rent for certain properties. So it's going to be a little game, and you only have 2 seconds to answer the question.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to know what you can rent a 2-bedroom in Brentwood for.
$2,600.
Okay, a 1-bedroom condo in Surrey City Centre on transit.
$1,795.
Nice. Okay, townhome in Fraser Valley.
$2,895.
Okay, townhome in Port Coquitlam.
Same.
You're fast. Okay, I got 2 more for you. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, single family detached home in Coquitlam.
$3,400.
Awesome. And single family detached home in Maple Ridge. Do you go to Maple Ridge?
Yeah.
Okay.
$2,800.
Nice. Okay. Well, thanks. That was under 2 seconds.
It'll be a little bit conservative, but that's what they are.
Yeah, I know square footage makes a difference. Backyard, patio size, so many variables, but
people think it matters more. It doesn't really a lot
no?
of rental. No.
Okay.
You're not going to get $500 more because your patio is nicer.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It matters in selling real estate.
Of course it does. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
25, 30 grand, 40 grand, whatever. But the rental rate, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I really wanted to end this off with asking you the last question. What would you say to somebody who's thinking of changing careers or starting their career in property management? What advice would you give them?
First of all, there is a lot of work and a lot of opportunity, so it's very, very stable business. If you're researching it, people might call it recession-proof. Nothing is recession-proof, but it's very recession-resistant. Okay. And just an example is that we control 1,000% of our monthly fees every month, and then we collect the rent, and then we spend 2 weeks putting our finances together, paying some repair and maintenance bills on behalf of the clients, and then we send the rest of the money back to the clients. So we control a massive amount of money that is way well and beyond of our payments versus working in other industries where you're like trying to collect from your clients all the time. We collect and send the money to you. So just that basic thing. It's a big trust thing. Like we're licensed for it. It's all audited and all done properly. But at the end of the day, you control the money that's coming in, which is very nice and stable. The housing market in Vancouver is incredibly stable. Like rents have just been a disaster for 40 years at this point. So it's pretty stable and not going anywhere. We're still a world city, and there's just a lot of opportunities in rental, strata, commercial, everything for property management. We don't have enough people in the business. So there's definitely work there. Best thing to do, don't go out and write your license first. Go work in an office first. Go get a job as an assistant for $45,000 a year and just understand what it's like being in that environment. If you hate it, then don't bother because you're going to hate it. But if you see the opportunity, you think it's interesting, then you work with some people, go get your license and then go from there. But don't go get your license first and then start. It's kind of like going in to get a bartending license and then going to the club for the first time and you hate it. It's not a good idea.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice, and that's helpful for anyone, trying to learn the business or, thinking of making the move, changing their career or getting into the business. So thank you so much for all those tips and tricks. Thank you, Keaton, so much for being here today. I appreciate all your advice, all the insight on property management. There's so much more I want to dive into and talk about, so I'm going to call you back again and pick your brain some more about actually, dealing with the landlords and the people that are renting the homes, and more about the market in general. But appreciate your time, and thanks for coming down to our Rennie office today.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. It's been fun.
All right, that was Keaton Bessey. If you have any questions or comments, please drop me a line. I'm Shelly Vellani with Rennie & Associates Realty.